Hello. Well, is there anything I need to download or do or all right.
You Lord, oh Lord, you Lord, for Sunday. 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 If you wanna stay with me, if you wanna try, maybe you could be with me, but only for the night. And I want the window, baby, leave our key outside the door. We don't need to tell nobody, but I think I'm ready to be loved. Only for the night. If you wanna stay with me, if you wanna try, maybe you could be with me, but only for the night. And I want the window, baby, leave our key outside the door. We don't need to tell nobody, but I think I'm ready to be You Lord, oh Lord, you Lord, for Sunday. 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 If you wanna stay with me, if you wanna try, maybe you could be with me, but only for the night. And I want the window, baby, leave our key outside the door. If you wanna stay with me, if you wanna try, maybe you could be with me, but only for a night. And I'll let the window open, baby. Leave our key outside the door. We don't need to tell nobody, but I think I'm ready to belong. Only for a night. If you wanna stay with me, if you wanna try, maybe you could be with me, but only for a night. And I'll let the window open, baby. Leave our key outside the door. We don't need to tell nobody, but I think I'm ready to If you wanna stay with me, If you wanna try, maybe you could be with me, but only for the night. And I'll let the wind blow you, baby. Leave my key outside the door. We don't need to tell nobody, but I think I'm ready to belong.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Gateway. I am Mike Taylor up in the booth, and being joined with me today here on the iRacing Network is one of my really good friends, Dakota LaRue. Dakota is joining us today while Rhea takes a brief day and enjoys the race as a spectator today. So before we do get started, ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and take a look at your race info for today.
Let's see. Today we got 160 laps, 200 miles, stage breaks at 45 and 90, 4 sets of tires. Should be a pretty good race.
Absolutely. We are looking for an awesome race here today. Oh boy. Give me one moment here, guys. I apologize. All right.
If you wanna stay.
What? Give me just a moment here. Oh. Mm. Alright, 1080. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, I apologize about that, but here it is, your race info for today. We are at World Wide Technology Raceway right here in Madison. Today they are running 160 laps for 200 miles. We will have stage breaks at lap 45 and 90. Your fuel capacity for today is 60%, and these drivers will have 4 extra set of tires. It is temperature out today. It is 77 degrees Fahrenheit with track temperature sitting at 92 degrees. Your humidity is 79%, partly cloudy, and your wind is 7 miles per hour. Your hometown hero for today is going to be Alan Bergen. Your defending winner is Tristan Bailey. And just a couple Larry McNuggets. Your average cautions, including stage breaks, is about 14 here. And your average lead changes is just about 14 here today. Let's go ahead and take a look at our notable subs for today. You have Thomas Fisher in the number 1 machine today. Josh Coppernoll in the number 5. Eugene Thorne returns to the number 19 this week. Jacob Treat, he will come into the 41 this week. Matt Sosler, he will pilot that number 43 machine. Brian Treadwell will pilot the 47. Thomas Flynn, he will be in the 77, and Wesley Riddle in the 99. And as you guys know, every week Rhea picks a top 5. Let's go ahead and take a look at who she's picked to win the race this week. She's got Danny Sallow in the number 10, Michael Hoffledason in the number 16, Dylan Basin in the number 42, Mark Gonzalez in the 2. He was very strong last week. Andrew Miller in that 54, who was also very, very strong. And she has the dark horse of sub driver Jacob Treats in that number 41 as her dark horse for this week. She's got a lot of really, really good drivers on tap today, and so we are excited to see what these drivers can absolutely do here today. And let's also go ahead and take a look at our current point standings. You have Justin Barkley in that number 19 machine for Joe Gibbs Racing on top of your championship leaderboard with 277 points. Nick Miller in that number 99 for Trackhouse Racing. She's trailing behind with 254 points. Angel Hernandez in that number 45 for 2311 Racing. With 235 points, Dylan Basin has been slowly but surely climbing up through the point standings as being one of the dominant cars here in the iRacing Sim NASCAR Fever series. And Mark Gonzalez in that number 2 machine for Team Penske Racing with 215 points. And this here is your top 18 in points. We are so excited to get this underway after having a week off last week. So let's stop chit-chatting and let's head on down to the track and take a look and see what is happening out on track. And let's go catch up with a couple drivers here. We have our eyes currently set on Christian Delgado in that number 12 Ford Penske machine. So you were talking a little bit ago, Dakota, about how you ran a race with these cars at this very track. What were you experiencing in your race just a little bit ago?
So my race a couple days ago, the track temp was around 120, so the first few laps is pretty slick, but after about 15 to 20 laps, you start burning the right front off, and you start pushing through the corners a little bit, so you have to play with the gearing a little bit. I was using third gear going into 1 and 2 to help get the drive off a little better and save a little tire, but some people were able to stay in fourth. It's really just a comfort level thing and trying to figure out where you can get your car the most speed without burning the right front up the worst.
Oh, that's absolutely one of the biggest fights here that you will see here at Gateway. And we're looking here at the leaderboard. We have Chris Otto in that number 6 on top of the leaderboard with a 32.89, and Christian Delgado in that 12th machine for Team Penske up there in second with a 32.90. So just only a tenth of a second off separates your top 2 here, as you see Delgado tap the wall coming out of turn number 2. Alrighty, can you give me a quick voice check there, Dakota?
Test 1 2, test 1 2.
We are just double checking our audio for our color commentator, Dakota LaRue, today.
Alright, that sounded pretty decent to me, but I'm not quite sure.
Alrighty. And Delgado got loose coming at it too and slammed the inside wall. He's going to come down, reset his machine. Let's take a look here at Thomas Fisher out of Minneapolis, Minnesota, in that number 1 Busch Light machine.
I'm just going to take a minute to mark some of these paint jobs. Some really good ones out here today.
Absolutely. One of my favorite things about this league is they follow not only the real life NASCAR schedule, but they only drive the NASCAR paint schemes. And at the beginning of the season, when the drivers do come in and pay their fee to race in this league, they get drafted into a race team. And so a lot of these drivers, you know, so you will only see the Cup Cars paint schemes on these. And let me tell you what, all the painters that do this, big shout out to every single one of you. You guys really do make this you really do make all these paint schemes look absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, there's definitely some very well made paint schemes in here. Like, I've seen some good ones, and these are, I'd say, top tier paint schemes.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And Thomas Fisher brings his machine to the top of the charts with a 32.8. And Dylan Basin in that number 42 machine, he brings his number 42 up to the front, and he is out of Lakeland, Florida. We have just about 15 minutes as you see Dylan Basin drop a lap time of a 32.75. As you see him riding the wall around the outside there out of turn to number 4 and hard into the inside wall. And he will bring his machine down to a stop. Let's take a look here at Wesley Riddle in that number 99 machine. He is out of Harrisonburg, Virginia. He is a substitute driver in that number 99 machine. And let me pull up my quick notes here. He is subbing in for Nick Miller in that number 99. So Miller taking a week off here. He's putting down some decent lap times there with the 33.09 being his fastest lap last time by.
Well, you want to do some early picks before the race starts?
Oh, absolutely. Why not? So
what do you got?
Having a look at all these drivers on track, it is very hard to not go for Dylan Basin in that number 42 Toyota for Legacy Motor Club. He's been absolutely dominant since he joined this series just about 4 races ago. He's already come in and just like stolen the show from the rest of these drivers. So I definitely have my eyes set on Dylan Basin. And who do you have out there that you have your eyes set on?
You know, this is my first race, and I think I'm going to go with Cody Meadows. He's not setting the fastest laps right now, but I've been looking over his laps. He seems like he's pretty consistent. So
Yep, Cody
I
Meadows
think I'm
in
gonna go with Cody Meadows.
that number 21 machine for the Woods brothers out of Martinsville, Virginia. That is actually a really good pick there. Um, Meadows, he's been really quick the last couple of races. I can't say weeks because we were off last week. Um, but the previous 2-3 races, he's been very, very strong, and unfortunately, he's gotten himself into a little bit of trouble. So, and most of them was out of his doing. So hopefully this week he can turn things around here at Gateway. Let's take a look at some others here on track. Let's take a look here at Fabrico Lamana out of Sao Paulo, Brazil. He's a sophomore here with the ISNF series, as he is hanging out in about that 20th position there.
Now, one thing I can say about this track is you can lightly tap the wall and end up with 5 to 6 minutes of damage. So honestly, being in the back might not be a bad strategy early off, because anyone that gets loose and goes into the wall, I mean, it's going to be pretty bad, and it's pretty tight track, pretty tight corners, so not too bad of a strategy trying to start back there.
Yeah, it's really not a bad idea at all. You know, this track is such a unique track. I want to bring up our race info one more time so you guys can take a good look at the racetrack here. The track, it kind of reminds me of a flat Darlington. It's got that awkward egg-shaped oval, and it's a 1.25 mile track, and it's just such a very odd shape, and I think it's going to be very challenging to get that perfect setup that you are looking for here today with these setups.
I agree with that. It is kind of like a mini Darlington, with the only exception being like Darlington turn 1 and 2 would be like the equivalent of 3 and 4 here, and then vice versa for the other corner.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I just wanted to bring that up one more time here, as we let time continue to pass down. Somebody that's made his way to the top of the charts is Charles Robertson in that number 20 machine for Joe Gibbs Racing. He is out of Knightsville, South Carolina. He is one of the founding members of ISNF, and he's been pretty strong as well the last couple of races here, and he's been able to put down a lap time of a 32.78. So that's some really, really good lap times right there.
Might I add, he also did that while passing a car.
Yeah, he did that while passing a car, absolutely. Let me take a look here at a couple things. Ouch, as he hits hard into the wall out of turn number 2. And that was that tightness that you were talking about coming out of these corners, that you just get so tight and you're pretty much just hanging on, you know.
Yeah, you kind of get tight in the middle of the corner, and then on the exit, you kind of like randomly snap loose in some cases, and that's the result of that right there.
Absolutely. As we take a look here at the Gateway Arch right here in St. Louis, or right outside of St. Louis, Missouri. such a beautiful view. I actually got to go and uh, go see it in person when I was a truck driver about maybe about 10 years ago. I got to drive right by it because I missed my turn, so that was pretty cool to see up close.
Yeah, I've seen it a couple times. I've been through there, down in that area.
As we take a look here at Jeff Weimer out of Lancaster, Pennsylvania. He's another one of these founding members, and he is driving for Roush Fenway Kozlowski Racing.
Hey, how do you feel about maybe interviewing a couple of drivers before the race or
Yep.
before quali?
Absolutely, that's actually something I am actually getting ready to do. Um, I want to try to snag Dylan Basin on top of the charts. Let's see if I can snag him here real quick.
I'll let you handle this mainly. That way we're not talking over each other.
Alrighty. I'm actually just going to jump down to their channel. If he's here, he may not be in his channel yet, which is alright. We want these guys to stay focused. Let's see. Christian Delgado's right there. Cody Meadows.
She said that the ticker's not showing all the drivers on the tower, or switch to the ticker, it's not showing all the drivers on the tower.
So we should have 27. Yeah, so it's only showing 27 because Mark Gonzalez in the number 2, Michael Haflidason, Alyssa Sharp, and Eugene Thorne have not come out on track just yet and made a lap. That's why those drivers are not being shown at the moment. But we can head over to this one here. Let's give a little shout out here to SimRacerHub.com. Sim Racer Hub and the ISNF, they have a very close relationship, and so they like to push and promote each other, and that's one of the absolutely things I love about this league is the kind of commitment that Rhea puts to this. I was just bragging a little bit ago to Dakota here. You know, Rhea does so much for this league, and I just want to give her a little bit of love right now. You know, she's made this whole experience for me as a broadcaster. She has made it so much more better for me, and she's encouraged me to find new little things here as we see smoke coming out of turn 2, and the car is backwards there. As I was saying, you know, she's got me pushed, and you know, I've stopped and I've done one of these, the notable subs. I know it kind of looks funky at the moment, but because of her, I've decided to dive down deeper into the SDK programming, and then I learned like the relationship she has, you know, not only with her drivers here in the league, but SimRacerHub.com as well. So I am very happy and very honored to be able to broadcast this league for you here, right here on the iCast Racing Network. And I'm very glad that Dakota LaRue, my good friend, is here with me today to experience this for the first time. So I'm going to just stop talking and let's try to find a quick driver here. So you said that you have your eyes set on Cody Meadows in that number 21.
Yes, sir.
Let me go ahead and jump down to that Team Penske and see if I can get a quick word with him. Cody Meadows, this is Mike Taylor up in the booth. Do you got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Cody, you are currently second on the charts, and I have a really good buddy of mine with me today here, and he said he was watching you, and you are his favorite to win today. So what are your thoughts heading into this race here today at Gateway?
Well, I gotta thank him for choosing me for his pick, but I'm going in just praying to God I can make it through the thicket, which has been my main problem for the past few races. I just get caught up in things and I don't. Just need to get level-headed, head down, make it through, keep it clean, and hopefully I can be there at the end.
Yeah, absolutely. I was mentioning to him earlier that when he picked you, I'm like, you know, you are definitely somebody to watch as you've been very, very strong the last couple of weeks, and things just haven't been going your way. But hopefully here today at Gateway, you can turn your luck around and possibly come get a W. But we got Dylan Basin up top. What's it going to take to beat him today?
Everything and the kitchen sink.
Plain and simple.
I really don't know how to beat him. I've had multiple times where I've been up in the front row with him. He's quick. He's one of the quickest here, and it's gonna take everything under the sun to get him, if I'm being honest.
Alrighty. Well, Cody, I wish you a bunch of luck today. While I'm in here, let's go ahead and speak with Christian Delgado. Christian, do you got a copy?
I got you, buddy.
All right. So currently, right now in practice, you are hanging out in the top 10. What are you going to have to do in the race in order to move your spots up as we get ready to go green here in just a few moments?
Yeah, I think here at Gateway, it's just going to be about just being consistent and, you know, hitting your marks there, especially in 1 and 2. It's super easy to overdrive the corner, make a mistake or whatever. So, you know, I feel like I've never had the best kind of like one-lap pace. You know, I'm always someone who's there at the end. You saw that at Chicagoland. Unfortunately, got kind of taken out of a good finish there. But I feel like for me, I'm always someone who has the better long-run pace compared to a lot of these guys here. And hopefully we can take advantage of that. Obviously, at stage 1 and 2, we're going to have to get through to get some stage points here for the 12 machine. But after that, we have that long green flag run at the end of the race here. Hopefully we can take advantage of that, keep the car clean. Obviously, Gateway is pretty tricky. It looks like a lot of people have some issues out of the corners, but hopefully we can just keep the car clean and be there at the end.
Alrighty. Well, I appreciate you. We're going to go ahead and transfer over into qualifying. Good luck, gentlemen, and hopefully we'll talk to you guys at the end.
Thank you.
But
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was the number 12 of Christian Delgado and the 21 of Cody Meadows. And like I said, we are now going to transfer here into qualifying. Let's go ahead and get down on track.
Since we're heading into qualifying, what we're going to be looking for here is, as they're going into 3 and 4, trying to get a wider arc to carry more speed down the front stretch going into 1 and 2.
Absolutely. That's definitely going to give you that, you know, fast straightaway speed that you're going to look for. As we take a look here at James Bowles in that number 24 for Hendrick Motorsports, he is out of Richmond, Virginia. He's coming up on his seventh start. Um, and here he comes heading down into the turn number one. Let's see what kind of lap times these guys start throwing out. Cody Bowles rocking that Valvoline paint scheme today. Whenever I see Valvoline, I always think of Mark Martin when he drove the Valvoline number 6 machine. So it's always awesome to see these old sponsors coming back and sponsoring these race cars. And it just shows how much of a bond that these sponsors and NASCAR have. As you see Basin, he jumps back up with a 32.48. As we go ahead and keeping our eyes here on Bulls as he comes out of turn 3, or I'm sorry, turn 4. Let's switch over here to Dylan Basin out of Lakeland, Florida. He's going to come across the line. Let's see if he can better his lap time, which he does. He goes from a 32.48 to a 32.47. Christian Delgado, he is working his second lap here, looking to better his time of a 32.79. As they work their way around turn number 4 to the start finish line. Let's see what kind of a lap time he can put down. He is not able to better his lap time of a 32.79. So that's going to keep him over there about the 4th position. Charles Robertson makes his way up to the second on the charts with the 32.67.
Chris Otto decided to rethink his lap and went back to go make some adjustments in the pit right quick.
Oh, probably. It does not surprise me. Chris Otto, he is one of those drivers that, you know, he's always looking, you know, he's one of those drivers that always gets that last second to make that final change, and usually it's for the better. So it doesn't surprise me that he stopped on that first lap and then come back in and reset. As we take a look here at Justin Johnson out of LaGrange, Georgia. He came out last week and snuck his way up into the 3rd position or 2 weeks ago at Chicagoland. He snuck his way into the 3rd spot, I believe it was. Very strong driver, and he's looking to make some noise this week as well. He just qualified himself with a 32.84, and that'll put him right behind Jeff Weimer. As he heads down here into turn number 3 for the final time. Matt Sicilier is not going to... Oh, there he goes. He puts in the lap time. And that will bump Johnson and that number 22 machine.
Also, looks like we got Alyssa Sharp coming in for their first lap in the 17 car.
Yep, Alyssa Sharp in that number 17 machine.
Believe they ran out of time.
Yeah. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead. And as these drivers get ready to line up down here on pit road, let's go ahead and take a look at our starting grid. With no surprise of Dylan Basin up in that number 42 machine, he will start on the pole. Charles Robertson in that number 20 machine will be to his outside. The Thomases, they will start in row 2 with Fisher on the inside, Thomas Flynn on the outside. Christian Delgado in the number 12 machine, he will start 5th. And Joshua Grosso, he will start on the outside in row 3. Dakota's pick of Cody Meadows, he will start on the inside of row number 4, and he'll be joined by James Bowles in that number 24 machine. Justin Johnson in the 22, and Jeff Weimer in the 60 will be row number 5. Row 6, you see... Give me one moment. There we go. Row 6, you've got Matt Soselier in the number 43 and Fabrico Lamana in the number 44 machine. Row number 7, you have Andrew Miller and Chris Bishop. Row number 8, you have John Hopley and Josh Coppernell in row number 8. Row 9, you have Joey Maines and Eric Jorgensen in row 9. Row 10, you have Scott Trusty in that number 8 machine with Larry Fairman in that number 34. Jacob Treat in that number 41 machine, and Wesley Riddle in the 11th row. Row 12, you got Michael Hoffledason in that number 16 machine, and Alyssa Sharp will join him on the outside of row 12. And there we go. Row 13, you have Chris Otto and Eugene Thorne. Row 14, Chris Van Mastrich and Michael Gerby in that following the row. Row 15, you have Brian Treadwell and Bob Wyckoff. And rounding out the field, Mark Gonzalez in that number 2 machine. He has a very long way to go in that number 2 machine as we are getting ready to take the green flag. And the race will go green on our flagman Barney. And Fred is getting ready to bring that pace car down pit road as the field comes out of turn number 4. It is now in the hands of Barney, the flagman, and we are green flag racing here at Gateway. And they dive down into turn number 1 for the very first time. Dylan Mason, he gets out in front of Charles Robertson, and that leaves everybody else fighting back behind them. As we already have trouble, the 23 is around. Joshua Grosso is around. Huge crash here on the back straightaway. The 41 is around. The 6 is involved. The 21, the 7, the 19, the 35. About a good 10 cars involved in this one. That is
21 hit the wall and then got hit in the side as well. That's not a good start for my pick there.
That is absolutely not a good start for your pick. Let's go back here and take a look and see what happened. Just coming out of the corner, they were beating and banging just a little bit in front, and that is all she wrote for a lot of these drivers. Let's go back and take a look at the 21 of Cody Meadows. Let's see if we can get a little bit of a better view here, which it looks like we will be able to. As they come up, the 23 just bounces off the wall a little bit, and then Meadows, he was just along for the ride. As you can see, he did break his front tire, so a lot of these drivers are going to have to come down pit road to get repairs on their machines. Very unfortunate for a lot of these drivers, As
Let's
we
see, I believe we got a DNF from Meadows. I think the 7 car's got about 8 minutes of damage right now, so far that I'm seeing.
Yep, I have tallied it all up. We have 13 drivers that have made it through that whole ordeal, including Alyssa Sharp. She made it through that, through everything there. Glad to see that she made it through in that number 17 bodyguard Ford Mustang. She's also been one of the very strong people. I spoke with her, just a couple weeks ago, leading up to the race at Richmond, I think it was. No, not Richmond. Iowa. And she said short tracks are one of her strong suits. So just expect to see Alyssa Sharp come up through that field. And she's already gained 10 spots after avoiding all that carnage there on the first lap. As we are now going to line them up and do it all over again. Your race leader is going to be Dylan Basin. He got a pretty decent start this last time. We're going to get to see how they line up once again.
Looks like Chris Otto might also be DNF'd as well. Very unfortunate for them. They had pretty good pace in practice.
Yep, absolutely. And I do show Cody Meadows is coming back out on track himself as well here. There we go. And we're getting ready to go green flag racing here once again as the field comes out of turn number 4. And we are green flag racing here once again. Same good jump there by Dylan Basin, and Charles Robertson, he will line up right behind him as they make their way through turns 1 and 2 onto the exit. Now every driver, it looks like this time, they had such a better exit all around for this field. As we jump back here just a little bit to the 16 of Michael Hofladason, running around right about that 12th spot, running side by side with the 71 of Chris Bishop. From your experience, I actually just bought this track for iRacing here as we got trouble. What a save by Jeff Weimer in that number 60 machine.
That was a huge save back there. It looked like somebody was almost completely sideways.
That car would have been Jeff Weimer. What an incredible save there for that 60 machine. So as I was saying, I just bought this track maybe about 45 minutes before the session opened, so I haven't actually got to race on this track. So I'm going to reach out to you here a little bit, just for a little bit of knowledge about this track. And as you said, a lot of these drivers are going to face a lot of tightness. Do you guys stay in a pack? Like a lot of good, passing opportunities, or does it get pretty spread out as the race goes on?
Depending on speed, most of the time it gets pretty spread out. It stays single file for the most part. This is pretty hard track to pass that. I'd say it's really close to like Darlington level of hard to pass, but not as bad. The main thing is going to be just running the proper line to get the speed on the exit of the corner. For instance, in 1 and 2, you don't necessarily want to be completely on the bottom. There's this little seam. You can see it as the leader goes in here. That little black mark on the left. You want to keep your car right around there. And that way you can carry more speed on the exit. And then 3 and 4, you kind of want to go a little wide and turn in and carry more speed. But particularly this track, there isn't necessarily a lot of passing. It's more just saving your stuff and waiting for other people to make mistakes so you can get around them, in my experience at least.
I gotcha. And so, as we see here, things have settled down a little bit here as James Bowles made his way around that number 22 machine. Justin Johnson. Johnson, rocking out that Hunt's Brother Pizza machine. As everything now gets single file here. Not a lot of movement amongst a lot of these drivers. As we take a look here at Brian Treadwell out of Hancock, Maine, one of the original founding members of the ISNF series. A little too far on that one, as we got a lot of action now between Scott Trusty and company back here. Just taking a look here at John Hopley in that number 4 machine, as he's racing hard here with Eugene Thorne, as we got him going around in turn number 3 and 4, and that will bring out our second caution of the day. Let's go ahead and head back and see what happened to him, as
It kind of looked like the 4 car thought he was going to be able to get between the 19 and the 44 there, and kind of just turned down on the 44's nose a little bit.
yeah, that exactly looks like what happened there for John. Just wasn't able to close up that gap quick enough, and unfortunately he got the worst end of it.
Luckily, he shouldn't have got a lot of damage, but I will say with the new tire model on these cars, if you slide the tires at all, it eats them. It eats them alive. It's pretty bad, actually.
So how important is tires here at Gateway?
During my race, which again the temperature was slightly different, I've seen a couple people almost blow tires trying to do a full fuel run. And so conserving your tires, for instance, I went 20 laps driving easy, and by the time 20 laps had come up, I was able to start passing a bunch of people because they were sliding all over the place and wasn't able to keep it down on the bottom and stuff like that because they were so tight.
I see. So ultimately, it's going to be very hard for these drivers to go a full fuel run then, without having too much, issues with their tires. So you think these guys are going to have to pit earlier than they want to?
Necessarily, it really just depends on how you set your corners up and are driving off. But if you're overdriving the car, you're most definitely going to have to pit sooner than your fuel cycle, or you're going to lose a lot of pace.
I gotcha. As we see here, it looks like Mark Gonzalez in that number 2 machine. He will be your lucky dog. Mark Gonzalez out of Fort Worth, Texas, driving that Freightliner machine for Penske.
That'll put him 1 lap down, it looks like.
It does look like a couple of these drivers here are a lap or 2 down. And he will come, and it looks like he'll make his way down onto pit road. Something that these drivers have to remember, they only have 4 sets of tires for this event. So when these guys are coming down to fix damage and everything, they want to make sure that that those tires are not checked, and they're screaming at their crew chief saying, "Hey, don't touch my tires. Keep them on."
Yeah, I've done that a few times. You'd be in the middle of a race and you just get spun out or something. You're like, dang, I'm going to go to the pits and get fuel and stuff since I'm already in the back. And next thing you know, you're getting jacked up, changing tires, and you're just like, well, I just burned a set for no reason. Now I have to be extra careful.
Exactly. I've done that so many times myself. And at times it's very unfortunate, but you make do with what you've got.
I remember racing in a chase for a championship a couple months ago and taking left side tires by accident because I didn't uncheck them. But you live and learn.
Yep, absolutely.
Yes, Dylan Basin still has the lead here. Looks like they're getting ready to go to green.
Yep, and we are off. Dylan Basin once again gets a good jump there on Charles Robertson as they dive down here into turn number 1 and 2 once again. And they are
Charles
fighting.
also get a pretty good start as well as he pulls away from third and fourth.
Oh, absolutely. Charles had a much better restart this time around, as we see a lot of movement coming on back here, right around just about where Alyssa Sharp is in that number 17 machine, as she's trying to make her way back to the front. But Justin Johnson and James Bowles are both, they're kind of in her way as she makes the move on the inside. Gets a little bit squirrely there in the braking zone, but she was able to keep it under her, and she comes rocketing out at turn number 2.
That is another big thing here. If you don't have your brakes set up properly, they will lock up going into the corners, especially when you're pushing and going in deep. I learned that the hard way.
Absolutely. As we're sitting here taking a look here at James Bowles in that number 24 machine for Hendrick, he's moved himself. Well, no, he's been hanging out right about where he started the race, so he hasn't really been able to get any good momentum to move forward just yet. As you see Alyssa Sharp thinking about trying to take these guys 3 wide because she wants to go, but they're not moving out of her way, as she runs side by side with the 16 of Michael Hoffledason, and she will almost get him cleared.
Michael's been running that outside line for a couple laps now. It seems like he's getting a pretty good run. So.
Yeah, Michael Hoffledason, he's out of Gothenburg, Sweden. You mentioned a little over in practice as Alyssa Sharp overshot the corner there and got into the back of Michael Hoffledason and moved him up the track. And he's going to lose about 3 or 4 spots on this exchange. And that's very unfortunate there for Hoffledason. So what I was saying is, as you were reading some of the names, you saw his name actually in the server. It says Michael Hoffledinger. Well, Bria told me that some people have a hard time saying Hoffledason, and like I did the first couple of weeks myself. But Hoffledinger is amazing. I love it. So sometimes I'll go Hoffledason, Hoffledinger.
Hofflendason. Don't seem too hard to say, but the Hofflendinger caught me off guard a little bit. I won't lie. It just reminded me of a game I used to play, the character called Heimendinger, and that's all I could think about when I seen it.
Absolutely. Alright. And let's go ahead and move up here just a little bit, as the action in front of him is getting more intense up here between James Bowles and Justin Johnson in that number 22 machine.
It also looks like currently our leader has about a 5-car gap on second place. And second place has about a 5-car gap on third place at the moment.
Well, let's go ahead and come up here and take a look at your race leader of Dylan Basin. So far, he has led every lap so far. 22 laps out of 160 so far on in the books. And yeah, he has just about a second lead over second, and second has just about a second lead over over third.
Another thing to note is as you watch these drivers coming out of the corner, they're going to be getting really close to the wall. Just the slightest bit of touch can give you 2 to 3 minutes of damage here.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah. It's very surprising how the littlest touch of just tracks specifically. Like I've seen other tracks like Daytona, you can slam into the wall and keep going, but this one it really affects the car.
Yep, absolutely. And something I'm keeping my eye on is this battle right here. This is actually all the way back here for 23rd and 24th between the 47 and 35 of Brian Treadwell and Michael Gerby. These guys have been going back and forth, trading this position quite a few times so far, as he hits the wall hard out of turn number 2, and that's Brian Treadwell.
And Brian Treadwell most definitely has the right front wheel damage at the moment. That was what I was talking about just a minute ago, just the slightest bit of touch.
Yeah, absolutely. As you saw right before the camera rotated, Michael Gerby, he slid up the track. So things are going to settle down back here. Let's go ahead and head back up here to where all the chaos is. And it looks like Christian Delgado in that number 22 is finally, I'm sorry, Christian Delgado in the 12. He's finally starting to get to the back bumper of Thomas Flynn for that 4th spot. And he's slowly creeping his way, you know, inch by inch back to the back bumper here of Thomas Flynn.
Another battle I would like to point out would be between the 8, the 23, and the 19 and the 5. They've been pretty close all races. The 19 actually dives in on the 23 going into 1.
Yep, so we are showing this little battle right here for 20th through like 23rd. And then we do have Josh Coppernol in that 5. He is a lap down.
The 24 is currently pitting for some reason.
Yeah, James Bowles. Let's go back here and take a look and see what happened. As you see him up here in the wall. Yep, something happened. He missed it. Let's go ahead and go back just a little bit more. Let's see what happened. So we're gonna watch just about his last lap before he as we take a look here, looks like he's just pushing up the track. Do you think it's possible that he had a flat tire at that point in time that caused him to possibly have to make that unnecessary pit stop?
I would assume not this early into the race. I mean, they're only about 30 laps into the race. If it's about, it could be possible, but I very highly doubt it.
Yeah, definitely very unfortunate there for James Bowles in that number 24 machine, as he's currently sitting on pit road, going multiple laps down.
I would like to point out, it looks like so far Alyssa has moved up the top 10, starting from near the back.
Yep, Alyssa Sharp and Michael Hoffladason. They both have made their way up 14 spots from where they both started. And a lot of that came from that very first incident back on lap number 1. And it looks like that Michael was able to get back around Alyssa with no issues. But if you look at the front end of Alyssa's Mustang, it is dented in. How much is that going to affect the handling of this race car?
It's definitely going to make it slightly tighter, but I mean, in some cases it can be beneficial. It just depends on your driving style, but it's definitely going to burn the right front up a little more, in my opinion.
Gotcha. Well, I do appreciate that information. As they work their way through turns 3 and 4 here once again, coming back to the front straightaway.
The 9 car seems to be a little off pace. I think he's lost about 3 spots in the past lap. He's falling back pretty bad.
The 9 car of Bob Wyckoff out of Chandler, Arizona. He's had just a little bit of trouble in that Napa Chevrolet, as these guys, it seems like they're not able to get out of turn 2 as quick as they were. So those tire issues are definitely seeming to start having trouble for these drivers.
If I could give any advice to some of these drivers, I would probably recommend using third gear coming out of 1 and 2 to help the car rotate in the center a little better. You just got to be really, you got to play with the throttle a little bit on exit so you don't loop it.
Right, absolutely. Let's right on board here with Jeff Weimer in that number 60 machine for Roush Fenway Kozlowski Racing. As you see him dive down, and he does drop it down to 4th here, coming through 3 and 4, which is your wider of the two corners. And let's see what happens here as he dives down into turn 1 and 2, which is definitely a lot more tighter. He will stick around in that 4th spot, or for that 4th gear. Now let's come back up here and take a look at your race leader of Dylan Mason as he's starting to make his way around the lap car here of John Hopley. Again, Dylan Basin just so dominant the past few races. He has won the last 2 races, so he is looking to go 3 in a row. And we're just going to have to sit and wait to find out to see what he can do here today at World Wide Technology Raceway, as they are working lap 37, coming to lap 38 now. Thomas Fisher. Oh, go ahead.
If my calculations are right, because I believe I run 70% fuel in my league, they should be coming up to pit within the next 10 laps or so. It shouldn't be too much longer. They should have to pit.
Gotcha. So we are looking at pit stops possibly here in the next 10 laps or so. So I guess the true question is who's going to be the first one to come on down, and will some of the ones that did pit on that second caution, you know, how much further will they stay out, as, you know, the fresher tires will prevail obviously at this racetrack. How long do you think it possibly be before those guys come in?
I would stay out as long as I could. If with it being 160 laps, I mean, you want to stretch your fuel as far as possible, and then that way if someone pits a little sooner, they're going to have to pit again regardless. And you'll be able to go farther and gain more time on them on a long run, because you'll have to do at least another full fuel run. But they also have stage coming up, if I remember correctly.
Oh yes, lap 45 will be the first stage break.
So they might not have to do green flag stops, honestly, now I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, that's a very good possibility there, but I think they definitely will have to do it in that final stage, as we do have just about 2:45. Oh, we do have a caution. Caution is out now.
Let's see if we can figure out what happened here. I believe the stage got called 5 laps early.
That's what I'm thinking.
I'm pretty sure that's what I just heard over the radio. I believe the flag was thrown a little early.
Yep, so that's gonna shake up a couple things here for our drivers. As you see all the drivers coming down pit road. So it's going to be all about who has the fastest time here in the pits and the pit lane all together. So it looks like Justin Johnson in that number 22 had a pit stop time of a 8.37. So that makes me wonder, did he only take 2 tires?
Your left side tires actually really don't burn that bad here realistically, but typically it's only good for about like a 10 to 20 lap run if you've had a short run to do 2 tires. So there is a possibility he took 2, but I don't know how good it's going to work out with him on having 40 some lap tires.
Yeah, absolutely.
That puts him at 5th place. You got Dylan in first still, Charles in second, Thomas in third.
Alright, so that will put Justin Johnson in the number 22 up in that 5th spot. We're gonna have to find out. See,
And it does look like the lights are off on the pace car.
Yep, so it looks like we will be going green this time by, and Dylan Basin at that number 42 will bring him back to the green flag, and Charles Robertson will be on his outside here once again. And the green flag is out here. Decent jump here once again for Dylan Basin. Christian Delgado works his way up in that 3rd spot.
As they're through wide going, coming out of 2.
Oh, absolutely. A lot of entertainment's going on at the moment.
I'm gonna pop on board the 48 here. Because I see tires locking up going into 1 and 2 right in front of the 48. And they finally get a single filed out, it looks like. I say that as the, what is that? I believe the 39 seen it in and passed 2 people in 1 corner.
I'm sorry, which car?
Yeah, 39 is the orange light, I believe. Oh, 99, sorry about that.
99. There he is, Wesley Riddle.
He made a big pass going into 3 and 4. He's going in really hard.
And as he's looking to make a run here on Michael Hoffler-Nason for that 9th spot. You know, he's slowly made his way up through the field here as well, gaining just about 12 spots since the drop of the green flag. So he's been quietly making his way up through the field, as we had Thomas Fisher and that one car slammed the outside wall. And not sure how much that's going to affect his race car just yet, but we will see.
Let's see, I'm looking his car over right now. It don't really look like he's got too much damage, luckily. Which is very surprising, because he hit the wall pretty hard.
Oh, we have huge trouble in front of him. That looks like it's going to be the 20 of Charles Robertson. Sound like he just slammed hard into that outside wall. Let's go back here and take a look and see what happened. Yeah, he just got into turns 1 and 2 just a little too hard and slid up and hit the outside wall. So hopefully that didn't damage his car too much. But he is now hanging out in that 4th spot as the caution is back out here. Looks like it's possibly for Wesley Riddle. Let's jump back here, take a look, see what happened here.
So I did get confirmation. The 24 did not blow a tire earlier. He was having engine troubles and had to leave the track early.
Gotcha. So as you see Wesley Riddle coming out of turn number 2, he just loses it and unable to keep it off the inside wall, and he did end up blowing his engine. So he's made his way back down here on the pit road. And everybody's coming down pit road here once again. Dylan Basin, your front 8, they're coming down here for possibly just fuel. Let's take a look here, see what Dylan Basin does. Looks like looks like everybody's just getting tires.
I believe stage got changed to lap 90 now.
Alrighty. And Dylan Basin is sitting down on pit road in that number 42 machine, and he has fallen all the way back to 16th at the moment, still sitting on pit road. Very, very long pit stop here. It doesn't look like the crew is working on the car. This is very unfortunate here for Dylan Basin. As he's still sitting down on pit road, let's see if we can get a look. In my eyes, it looks like he's still sitting on pit road. And here comes the pace car as he now leaves pit road. Dylan Basin, your race leader, led every single lap, but now has fallen all the way back to that 21st spot with 110 laps to go. It's going to be interesting to see, you know, how long it's going to take him to get through this field, and is he going to be able to do it safely? But let's go ahead and catch up with the front of the field. Alyssa Sharp in that number 17 and Andrew Miller in that number 54. They will share the front row for this restart.
Alyssa still has front end damage, surprisingly.
Yep, she still has that front end damage. So obviously it's not really affecting her race car much, as she has elected not to take that damage repairs. But let's see what that number 17 bodyguard Ford Mustang can do as she brings the field out of turn number 4 and into the Geico restart zone. And we are green flag racing once again here at Gateway. She gets an amazing start and gets quickly up in front of Andrew Miller. Andrew Miller passes right through turn 1 and is hard into the outside wall. And more trouble on the back straightaway. The 17's around. The 1 is around. Back it down, guys. Back it down. A lot of trouble on the back straightaway. That was a very interesting restart there. Let's go back and try to unravel everything that just happened out of turn 2. So as we see here, Miller just overshoots turn 1 and stays here into the outside wall.
Looks like there
But
was an
then-
issue between the 43 and 22 as well.
Yep, the 43 looks like he got turned for a brief moment. Let's go back and take a look and see what happened with him coming out of the corner. Yeah, it looks like he just got, the 43 got turned off the 22, and then the 1 was checking up to a, it looks like he was checking up to avoid, but then he got turned towards the outside wall. So very unfortunate situation here as we see these drivers coming back down pit road, and once again Dylan Basin, that number 42, is coming back down pit road and coming to get service from his team here.
He has front end damage from the looks of it from that last caution there.
Very unfortunate there for Dylan Basin. But let's take a look here at Christian Delgado, whom we spoke with, both him and his teammate, the 21 of Cody Meadows, but looks like Cody Meadows, he has packed it up for the night, along with James Bowles and Chris Otto. They have all, so far, those are the only ones who have retired so far. As we take a look here at Joey Maines in that number 48, as they come up with the choose cone again. So the choose cone is actually in the works for iRacing for next week. I'm really excited about next week's update.
I actually haven't seen too much about the update. I know they're updating the HUD and stuff, I believe, and they're supposed to be adding some kind of thing that's kind of like Motec, but it's built into iRacing.
Yep, something like that, yeah. It's going to be so much immersive when it comes to, like, you know, your crew members seeing the data that, you know, they can see in live races, just like you would in the real world. So that's going to be a lot of fun to try to learn and digest. And they're coming out with a new little buggy as we're about to go green. Alyssa Sharp.
Let's get another huge jump here. That's the question.
Yep, Alyssa Sharp. Christian Delgado. And we are green flag racing here once again as we ride on board with Michael Hofflidason as they dive down into turn number 1.
Ooh, the 22 got into the 17 just a tad bit there.
17 of Alyssa Sharp went around, and we will stay green flag as she's stalled out of turn number 2. And now the caution will come out. Let's go back here and take a look, see what happens to Alyssa Sharp. So she was just coming through turns 1 and 2, and it looks like she possibly got tapped by the who was it?
Justin Johnson, I believe.
Justin Johnson at the 22. let's come back here and take a better look. I'm gonna go against, just a little bit of what I do, but now I'm very curious. So we're gonna go from a far chase view of Alyssa here, just so we can see as she comes out of turn 2, and she did indeed get turned by Justin Johnson. And then just a little bit later, Mark Gonzalez had issues as he gets turned off the nose of the 43 and gets hit by the 71, it looks like. So
I believe I'm hearing over the radios the 43 had a piece of paper stuck to his window and he couldn't see the track.
he fascinating.
Yeah, something was blocking his view. He was obstructed and couldn't see and accidentally drove into somebody.
Well, that's very unfortunate there. These race fans sometimes, they let their trash get away, and we've seen some crazy things happen here on these racetracks. We've seen water bottles, we've seen styrofoam from the roll bars of these race cars on track. We've seen a giant Tropicana inflatable floating down, Chicagoland.
You never know what the next thing they're going to throw might be. You just got to be careful sometimes. The fans just don't like certain drivers and be throwing stuff out their cars.
Yep, absolutely. So we need to get track security to go talk to them, and or make an announcement over the intercom, let's keep all the trash in the trash cans.
Yeah, that is true. I would like to point out, though, the 16 was able to get the lead over the 22 before the caution was thrown. So that puts Michael Hoffendinger in the front.
Yeah, Michael Hoffendinger, he's been very, very strong today. Made up 22 spots to get into that top spot. So he's come from a far way back in that number 16 machine for Team Penske. I'm sorry, for Team Colleague.
Another noticeable thing, after his pit issues, Dylan Bason's already up to 10th place. So he's in a pretty decent spot to go ahead and get back towards the front before stage.
Okay, look. Dylan Basin, he's quick. Just, not even, 2 cautions ago, he was all the way back in 22nd, 23rd.
That is fair.
And the 22 had a horrible restart that time, and he will fall all the way back to that 3rd spot right behind Charles Robertson, who's been the 2nd fastest car today. As they come out of turn number 2, once again heading down into turn number 3. Charles Robertson in that number 20 DeWalt Toyota Camry for Joe Gibbs Racing. He's looking to start leading some laps here, as well as he's put his eyes set on Michael Halfway. And then right behind Johnson is that 12 of Christian Delgado. He's been pretty strong here today as well, keeping himself up, right around the top 4, top 5 where he started the race.
If you'll take a look in 3 and 4 at the leaders real quick, as you see the 20 diving it pretty deep into the corner, but you'll notice that the 16 is getting a lot better of a runoff, and he's able to put like a 2 to 3 car gap on the 20.
Absolutely, as you saw coming out of turn number 4 that time, Charles Robertson, he is looking to make a move here to take over that race lead. And I think it's just going to be a matter of time before he can get that number 20 machine out in front. But don't look now. Dylan Bason's worked his way up into the top 5. And here comes Charles Robertson on the inside, trying to take over that top spot as they run side by side down the front straightaway. Unable to keep it, right next to him. But here he comes down into turn 1, pushes a little bit up the track some, keeps it off of Hoffley-Dason, and Hoffley-Dason hard into the wall. And Charles Robertson did the right thing by moving down a little bit there out of the exit to give Hoffley-Davidson enough room to come off the wall. So that was very good race awareness there for Charles Robertson as he's continuing to look, and he takes over that top spot, and he will lead his first lap of the race today in that number 20 DeWalt Toyota Camry. Jumping back here to Dylan Basin in that number 42 machine. Now making his way on the inside of Christian Delgado's, trying to make it stick out of turn 2 as they now run side by side. Don't go up towards that wall. Don't
You
do
see
that.
what I seen, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
22.
I thought he was.
Woohoo! I thought 22 was having a death sentence there for just a moment as we have a battle for the lead still with Charles Robertson and Michael Hoffley-Davidson. They just switched spots here heading down into turn number 1.
And you know who's got to be loving to see this? Dylan Basin, as he's already up in the 4th and catching up to the 3rd place car currently. Watching the leaders battle.
Yeah, absolutely. As you see the 9 car bounce off the wall in turn 2 in the upper part of that of our screens. These two drivers are duking it out, and Dylan Basin's okay with that because the more they duke it out, the less, they can pull away from him, and he's just seeing money, money, money at this point.
Something happened with the 20 there. It looked like he got pretty loose going into that corner, but unfortunately a caution came out before the 22 could capitalize on it.
Caution came out for Michael Gerby. Let's take a look here and see what happened to him. That number 35 machine. He just got hard up into the 9 car, and then that's all she wrote coming down the front straight away. And he's going to have to reset that number 35 Monster Energy Toyota Camry, possibly to the pits. No, he's able to drive away after getting it refired. So he's going to pull away and rejoin the pack.
Ooh, looks like we have 2 more blown motors, one from Alyssa and one from Mark Gonzalez.
Mark Gonzalez did 2. Are they just sitting down on pit road at the moment? Is that what happened?
This DC.
Gotcha.
So that leaves us 20 cars on the lead lap currently. Scott Trusty should be getting a lucky dog here, I believe. If he hasn't already.
Let's take a look here at Scott Trusty in that number 8 Rebel Bourbon Chevrolet. Yeah, there goes Scott Trusty. He is going to be your lucky dog candidate out of Savannah, Georgia.
Hopefully he'll have a little bit of time to come in and get some of that right front damage fixed.
Yep, absolutely. Let's see. He may be able to get maybe about a good 10-15 seconds, but we will see. As he elects actually to stay out instead of coming down to pit road. So he probably feels that he doesn't have enough time to come down and do anything to his race car and then get back out there to catch the tail end. So I think he's gonna elect to stay out here, and I mean he did just pit back on lap 56, so he probably feels that he doesn't have too much, that much damage, and he should be all right.
Let's see, we should have right around 15 to 20 laps until stage after this green resumes.
That is exactly what I am seeing here as well. When we get the green flag this time by, we will have 91 laps remaining in this event. So we're just so we're just about 10 laps away from being about halfway in this event. Michael Hopladason, Charles Robertson on the front row. Dylan Basin on the outside of the second row. Has Robertson has a hard time get going that time, and that will allow Michael Hopladason to stay out front. But don't look now. Here comes Dylan Basin working the outside of Johnson. He does get it, and he dives down into the inside of Charles Robertson, looking to take over that second spot. Side by side, they come out of turn number 4, and it looks like Basins just has that extremely good run on the exit of these corners, and he will take over that second spot. But Robertson not giving it up so easily, but he will concede there in turns 1 and 2. And that puts Dylan Bass up into that second spot. And now he has his eyes set on Michael Hopladason. Nice and easy for Dylan Basin to make his way back towards the front of this field. The question is how much will Michael Hopladason fight to keep Dylan Basin behind him with 89 laps remaining? And how hard will Dylan Basin, push to get into the front, knowing that he is probably the fastest driver out on track? Right onto the back bumper coming out of turn number 4, Dylan Basin. He is setting up Michael Hopladason, and it's just going to be a matter of time before before Dylan Basin he makes that attack. And he's going to try to make it do on the outside here in 3 and 4, but unable to make it stick, and that allows Hopladason to pull away just a little bit. So I don't think that the outside's going to work very well here, to make a pass for the race lead. Hopladason hard into the wall out of turn number 2 that time, and that's going to easily allow Dylan Basin to retake that top spot with 87 laps to go. So it only took Basin just about a good 20 laps or so to get from like 22nd, 23rd all the way back to the race lead. Charles Robertson now, he has set his eyes on Michael Hopladason now for that second spot, as things starting to get calmer up here in the front. And Hopladason goes wide into turn number 3, and that opens up the door for Robertson to make a run here on the front straightaway, but he is unable to make it happen as you get that amazing speed out of turn 4. And Hopladason locked up the brakes there going into turn number 1 that time. You don't want to be doing that too often, because this racing surface, as we have one sideways, and there he goes across the track, and he will continue to pull away as he puts it back into gear. That's the 41 of Jacob Treat, as we have one spinning in front of him. Sure of who that was. That was Larry Fairman in that number 34 machine. Not exactly sure what happened there, as he almost hit the outside wall there, but he was able to keep it straight back on track.
Yeah, I was about to bring up, they've been pretty racy back here for like 13th to 15th. I've been seeing them go 3 wide, 4 wide, bouncing off each other, sliding on the brakes. I've been having a grand old race back here.
Well, this is where we will settle down just for the next few laps as we take a look here at Eugene Thorne in that number 19 for Joe Gibbs Racing. Eugene Thorne, he is a sub driver. As he's trying to hold off the 54 of Andrew Miller, and Bob Wyckoff and Chris Van Mastert. They're having a grand old time behind them, as you see Van Mastert making a run on the inside of Wyckoff for that 17th spot, unable to make it happen. Larry Fairman once again having issues. Looks like you had issues coming out of turn number 2. Let's go back here and take a look, see what happened. As he looped it kind of similar to what he did just a couple laps ago, but he was able to keep it straight this time. As you see the race leaders coming up behind him. These race leaders has to be really, really cautious of Larry Fairman in that number 34 machine, as he has gotten loose a couple times already. And so it's going to be interesting to see what happens as these drivers come up on this lap car. I want to point out Joey Maines here, that's number 48 machine, Ally Chevrolet for Hendrick Motorsports. He's been very strong today. He's moved himself up 11 spots since we went green flag racing. And we are at the halfway point now, 80 laps remaining. We are working lap 81. So we're sitting at just about 8 laps before our stage break will come out. Currently, your top 10 looks like Dylan Basin, Charles Robertson, Michael Hoffman-Dason, Christian Delgado, Justin Johnson, Joey Maines, Thomas Flynn, Chris Bishop, Joshua Grasso, and Jeff Weimer is your current top 10. And Fabrico Lamana, he is looking to take over that 10th spot to get some bonus points here for the end of this stage. Everything has been calmed down here at Gateway, with not a lot of racing going on amongst these drivers. I think they're just kind of like, mellowed out here, knowing that we're getting ready to come up on a stage break in just about 5 laps.
I believe they said they switched to 90. We'll find out right here shortly in a second.
Laps continue to tick down as we are just a few laps away from our next stage break. Dylan Basin in that number 42 machine. Again, out of Lakeland, Florida. Only 19 years old. And let me tell you what, this kid is fast every single race. And he is looking to make it 3 in a row right here for the iRacing Sim NASCAR Fever Series. If you guys are looking for an amazing league, let me push this league your way. A lot of respectful drivers. You know, they do tend to get their little, you know, mishaps here and there, but let me tell you what, this is some of the most respectful racing I have seen in a very, very long time, as Robertson is trying to make his way around the lap car of Larry Fairman.
We'd also have a battle for 10th place coming to the stage between Jeff
Right.
and
Fabrico
Yeah.
Lamana. So Lamana trying to take over that 10th spot because he wants that last bonus point as they run side by side. We should be coming to the stage here in just a couple of moments. I would like to see this one kind of play itself out as Lamana gets a good run out of the corner and gets in front of Weimer. And he will take over that 10th spot, dropping Jeff out of the extra point. As we are working lap at 90, we should be seeing that yellow flag here in just a moment. And I'm sure these drivers are itching to get some new, fresh Goodyear tires on their machines. As we continue to sit here and watch this battle here for 10th. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to get it done, and that'd be the 60 of Weimer. As they work lap 92 now. Or, I'm sorry, lap 91. And that caution should be coming out here in just a
our
moment.
flag man is having an issue finding the flag to throw out at the moment.
But, well, in this case, we're going to keep going as the one of Thomas Fisher is going around, and Jorgensen has something happen with Eric Jorgensen in that number 7 machine, and that will bring out our caution. Let's go ahead and go back, take a look, see what happened. As he heads down here into turn number 1. I think he blew a tire.
I think he was helping the flag man find his flag there for a minute. I think that's what was going on with that situation.
That's a possibility. Let me take a look.
Just listening to some of the communication going on with the drivers here.
Very unfortunate there for Jorgensen. Let's take a look. Yeah, I'm very unsure of what happened there. You know, heading down into turn number 1, but
Well, bud, I hate to do it, but I'm going to have to run for a little bit. I'll try to hop back in if I get time.
not a problem, Dakota. Everybody, thank Dakota so much for joining us here today on the iCast Racing Network. My good friend, a really, you know, fun guy to hang out with. Dakota, again, thank you so much for joining me here today, and maybe I can get you up here with me more often. It's been an absolute blast. And
Appreciate you letting me have the chance to hang out with you for a little bit. But like I said, I'll try to hop back in if I get time.
absolutely, buddy. Thank you so much, and if I don't speak to you, enjoy the rest of your evening.
Yes, sir. You have a good one.
You as well. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, Dakota LaRue. He is a driver for Grease Monkey Motorsports. Alright, it looks like Chris Bishop in that number 71 that 71 machine for Spire Motorsports out of Yorktown, Indiana. It looks like he will come out in front of your race leaders by taking only 2 tires there. So, as we learned a little bit ago, it seems like 2 tires really is not a bad call. But now we're getting ready to have a good 65 lap run to the finish. And these guys, they will have to make at least 1 more pit stop as they go ahead and start to line up here on the front straightaway and get into a double foul rows here. Chris Bishop in that number 71 leading his first laps here today. Dylan Basin on the outside. Charles Robertson's going to start on his inside of row 2. And Michael Hoffledason, he will start there in that 3rd spot. And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to go here. Chris Bishop gonna lead this field to the green flag here once again, and the green flag is back out here at Gateway. Really good start there for your race leader as he's managing to hold everybody back behind. And trouble, the 42 is around, the 20 is involved. Your fastest 2 drivers involved in this pileup coming out of turn number 2. The 20 now sitting back there on the pits, and whoa! He almost backed right up into Bob Wyckoff. Luckily, Wyckoff kept his eyes forward and was able to avoid contact. That is very unfortunate there for these drivers. Let's come back here and take a look and see what happened. Let's see. As you see them coming out, the 42 gets spun by the 20. As you see them scatter on the back straightaway to avoid further contacts. That is very unfortunate there for Dylan Mason and Charles Robertson. Let's go back and take a look here once again. And let's ride on board here with Robertson and see what he saw. He just, the 42 bobbled just a little bit. Hard impact there. Oh, another hard impact for the 20. So 2 really hard hits there for Charles Robertson as he makes his way down onto pit road to get service on his machine. Dylan Basin, he's getting service on his machine here as well. That will put Chris Bishop, Michael Hoffledason, Christian Delgado, and Justin Johnson up front in your top 4. And Thomas Flynn in that number 77 having a very good, strong showing out here today, here at Gateway. As you see the field now coming down the front straightaway. They will now double up here for the restart with just about 61 laps to go. Last time Bishop got an incredible start And let's see if he can do it again this time. And this time he will have Michael Haflidason in that number 16 machine to his outside. Let's take a decent look at some of these beautiful paint schemes on these machines. These guys here are still down on pit road. The 20 of Charles Robertson, he will come a lap or two down. That's very unfortunate for him after having a strong run. And pace car is in once again. And Chris Bishop will bring the field to the green flag. A big checkup on the inside. But everybody keeps off with each other. And Hoffman-Davidson does not get a good start. He will fall back to the third spot. And here comes Thomas Flynn looking to his inside. But Hoffman-Davidson flying to the outside of... I'm sorry. The 22. Oh, what a save by Hoffman-Davidson as things get scattered here, and he will fall back to that fifth spot, but he is not giving up yet. But here comes Joshua Grosso in that number 23 for 2311 Motors Racing. He has been making himself known up here now. You know, been pretty quiet. Big lockup there by Hoffman-Davidson as the drivers begin to sort themselves out. Christian Delgado, big trouble. The 42 of Dylan Basin is around on the back straightaway. Another incident for Dylan Basin coming out of turn 2. This last half of this race is just not working out very well here for Dylan Basin. He will come up here behind the 5 car of Josh Coppernol. Let's go ahead and come back here, take a look, see what happened. As he's just coming through turns 1 and 2. It looked like Netcode got him there with the 41 of Jacob Treat. Looked like he was able to keep it off that inside wall, so no harm, no foul for the 42 machine, but he will go ahead and bring it down pit road to get some, possibly some further repairs done on his machine. Christian Delgado, teammate Justin Johnson, both are having a phenomenal run so far here today, keeping those Penske Fords up front. So the question is going to have to be is, will they be able to keep it up front? And last week we talked, or 2 weeks ago, we talked to Justin Johnson, as you see the 5 of Joshua Coppernol get that wave around. We talked to Justin, you know, 2 weeks ago, Miss Ria and I, and on the very next restart, everything went poop on him. So we are not going to go down and talk with Justin today. Justin needs a good finish here after, you know, struggling the last couple of races. So we're just going to hang out here and wish Justin the best. Chris Bishop in that number 71 machine, after only taking 2 tires that last time here in the pits, he has fallen back here to that 4th spot as they come out to the front straightaway, and they are going to do the choose. Let's take a look here at the field as they come through turns 2 and exit of turn 2. a decent amount of way to go to head to turn 3. As you see the 9 car in the back of Wyckoff, you know, lining up back there. He made his way back on the lead lap. Wyckoff making his way back on the lead lap, like I said, after going a lap down early on in this event. Never give up. You never know, you could get back on the lead lap. And we are getting ready to go green. Fred brings the pace car down pit road here once again. It is in the hands of Christian Delgado, his teammate Justin Johnson to his outside, and the green flag is out, and Delgado gets a good jump, and Johnson, he will pull up right behind his teammate as they dive down into turn number 3 here once again. Joshua Grosso in that number 23 McDonald's Toyota trying to keep Bishop behind him as they exit turn number 2. As they run side by side back behind him, you see Hoffman trying to get back on the inside of of Chris Bishop, and he will make the run on the inside. Unable to make it happen, but they continue to run side by side as he gets a good bump off from Thomas Flynn. Heading down into turn number 1, still side by side. He will clear Chris Bishop, and here comes Thomas Flynn in that number 77 machine, trying to take over that 5th spot from Chris Bishop. Coming down into turn number 3 once again, the 77 working the inside. As you can see, there are multiple groups here happening late in this race as we continue to go side by side for that 5th spot from Chris Bishop and Thomas Flynn. Eugene Thorne in that number 19 Toyota. He's just waiting for somebody here to mess up, and we have a whole gaggle of cars behind them. They need to figure it out so that everybody can get moving here on the back straightaway. Looks like we're possibly trying to go 3 wide as the 48 pushes up the track. 48 pushes up the track and takes the 41 of Jacob Treat with him, and they will lose a couple spots there as they dive down into turn number 3. And coming back up here, Chris Bishop is now getting passed by Eugene Thorne. But Eugene Thorne not giving up Chris Bishop not giving up just yet, but taps the wall out of turn number 2. And it looks like the 44 Fabrico Lamana will get around Chris Bishop, and Chris Bishop with those 2 tires, he will continue to fall back. And here comes Dylan Basin in that number 42 machine. Spun out, just a couple cautions ago, and he is now making his way back through the field, and he's already made his way up to 7th, looking to take over that 6th spot from Eugene Thorne. Basin now past Thorne, heading down into turn number 3. Now he has his eyes set on Thomas Flynn in that number 77 machine. Dylan Basin continue to putting down fast, wicked laps as they continue to march through this, and we will have 50 laps to go this next time by when they come across the start finish line. As you see Basin looking to the inside of Flynn, and Flynn is just going to give him plenty of room, knowing Basin is fast. And remember, the less amount of time that he's fighting for that position, the less time that he's going to lose on the 16 of Hoffman in front of him. And there he goes. He finally allows Basin to get around in turns 1. And Hoffman is now looking forward to Michael Hoffman in that number 16 machine. Hoffman, Dylan Basin are both now in the top 5 here, and Basin wants to keep moving forward. Hoffman made it a little bit hard for Basin the last time that these two met here on track to get around him. He fought really hard, but here comes Basin to the inside, down the back straightaway, down into turn number 3. Let's see how much room Hoffman will give, and he will give plenty of room to that number 42 machine. And next up on the list is going to be the 23 of Joshua Grosso out of Red Wing, Minnesota. Grosso having a very strong day here at Gateway in the Gateway Arch 200. And real quick, I just would like to thank once again SimRacersHub.com for sponsoring this amazing league that is the iRacing Sim NASCAR Fever Series. As you see, Grosso actually getting a little bit of time here on the 22 of Justin Johnson. So we have a run for second starting to brew here. And it looks like Johnson, he's actually gaining on Delgado. So it looks like we may have a run for the race lead with the top 4 drivers here with still plenty of racing left. The question is going to be who's going to come out on top. And again, my gut is telling me it's going to be Dylan Basin. Every week since Basin has come in, I keep saying it, guys. He's been strong. He is fast. What's it going to take to beat Basin? And that's the ultimate question. I think the only person that can beat Dylan Basin at this point in that number 42 machine is going to be Dylan Basin. If he outdrives himself, that's going to be it, as he makes a move on the inside of Josh Grosso. And Grosso will just move and let him by. And now he sets his eyes on Justin Johnson. Johnson looking for another strong finish here tonight in that number 22 Penske machine out of LaGrange, Georgia. And he gets into the wall out of turn 4, and that's not going to do him any good, as that brings Dylan Basin to his bumper. Johnson runs high and through 1s and 2, and that's going to allow Basin to get that run on the inside, heading down into turn 3, and he will complete the pass. One more spot to go for Dylan Basin in that number 42 machine for Legacy Motor Club. This kid is just wicked fast, ladies and gentlemen. Slowly but surely, he's been catching them. He is definitely about 2/10 to 3/10 faster than Delgado. And the question is, then he gets into the side of Delgado and he lets him settle down, and that gives out an according effect as these 4 drivers are now battling it out for the top spot. You know, again, that's that respect that these drivers have for each other as they go to look 3 wide for the race lead coming out of turn 2. This last time heading into turn 3, Basin got into the back of Delgado, and Basin let off and allowed him to compose himself, even though that brought everybody, the top 6, all under one blanket right there. That just shows what kind of respect these drivers has as Delgado gets hard into the wall as he's trying to pinch Basin now down on the inside, unable to make it happen. And Basin will now take over that top spot. The question is now, who's going to make a run in? Here comes Delgado back to the inside as they get ready to dive down here into turn number 3. Delgado unable to make it happen. Here comes Johnson in that number 22 Hunt Brothers Pizza Ford Mustang. Now he's got to try to work his way around his teammate to not allow Basin to get too far out. Remember, these guys still have at least one more pit stop to go, as you see Joshua Grosso in that number 23 Toyota Camry for 2311, trying to make his way around the 22 of Justin Johnson. And here comes Grosso looking to that inside, unable to make it happen, as Johnson just has that so much more power out of the outside of turn 4. Things settle down here for just a brief moment as your top 2 through, maybe about 7 or 8 right here continue to battle it out for the second spot, as you see Hofflidason fall back behind Thomas Flynn for that 5th spot. These guys duking it out right here for the second spot. No one's really giving up an inch, especially if since they're teammates. These guys are not giving up any space whatsoever, which I like, because they really do, you know, battle hard with each other. As you see here, Christian Delgado, Justin Johnson, and Joshua Grosso here is fighting for that second spot, as we had a major lockup behind these drivers. Christian Delgado starting to pull away a little bit here from his teammate Justin Johnson and Joshua Grosso. So he's going to start to pull away here as these two continue to battle it out. Let's draw back to the 44 of Fabrico Lamana. He is trying to get around Michael Hofflidason in that number 16 machine, as Hofflidason gets a little bit loose there out of turn 2. Lamana just hanging out here in the top 10 for a majority of the day. Really, really good run for Lamana here today, as he makes the move on the outside out of turn number 4, and he will make it work on the outside, something that we haven't seen all day. Did he just discover something that nobody else has found? But that's going to be the question, to see if he can gain to the back bumper of that 77 of Thomas Flynn for that 5th spot. As we continue to watch these drivers battle it out, Eugene Thorne gets a run on the inside, and he will complete the pass on Michael Hofflidason. And Michael Hofflidason, that number 16 Celsius machine for Kaulig, keeps falling back, and that is something he is not wanting to see. Hofflidason very strong, but he seems to be running through his tires a lot harder than everybody else. And so he's gone from 1st all the way back to 8th. And it looks like he's going to come down pit road, lock up the brakes, back onto track, unable to make it happen. He's going to have to come all the way back around and look at all that time that he has missed, as he comes down the front straightaway. And Jeff Wimmer in the 48, he's looking to just get around him. He shouldn't be racing too hard, as the 48, he has a lap down this time. Hofflidason's going to pull it all the way down, and he's going to whoa it down a little bit better. There we go. And not much of glowing on those brakes this time. And he needs to whoa it down as he bounces off the inside wall. Is this going to cause an issue for him as he comes down pit road? Dylan Basin out to just about a 3-second lead on your second place of Christian Delgado, followed by his teammate of Justin Johnson in that number 22 machine. Michael Hofflidason down on pit road. The 23 of Joshua Grosso's coming back out on track as well. Chris Bishop in that number 71 machine. He's coming down on pit road to get service on his machine for Spire Motorsports. I'm sorry, Spire Motorsports. So those green flag pit stops are now in progress for these drivers. Eugene Thorne in that number 19 machine, he's down on pit road. Jeff Reimer, he's on pit road. 41's coming in. It is so tough for these drivers to get down here onto these pit stops or into the pits. As you see, a lot of them locking up their tires as they come down. So that's something that we're going to have to watch out of these drivers as they start making their way down on pit road for service on their race cars. Christian Delgado slowly gaining on your race leader. Here we go. Here comes the 23 of Grasso trying to get around the 22 of Justin Benson. This is just proving how good these tires are. And you guys might not want to wait too much longer to start bringing their machines down on the pit road. So we take a look here at a couple of these drivers here. So Scott Trusty in that number 8, he was one lap down about 50 laps ago, and he's made his way back up into that 6th spot. As you see, the sun is starting to set here at Gateway. The track conditions are definitely going to be changing, and ultimately the question is going to be how much will that affect the handling of these race cars. Campanal for 45-second pit stop. The gap now between first and second is now just about 5.5 seconds. Christian Delgado pushing every single lap. Well, we have just about 24 laps remaining here at Gateway. These drivers back here, these guys have just about 9 lap older tires versus Basin at number 42 machine. So when Basin came down to get those fresh Goodyear tires after those 2 spins, that's made him very strong here. Everything has settled down now this entire field. And number 23, Joshua Grosso here on the back straightaway. Outside down turn number 3. He's possibly showing he is the first car a lap down at the moment. As it looks like Dylan Bason's getting ready to pass the 38 of Chris Van Maastricht. Again, good heat. That is for the 6th spot. And these guys up here have not pitted for new tires just yet. So we got six cars off the lead lap after Chris goes a lap down. That'll put 5, and Chris will just pull over and let him by. He said, no reason to be racing you, so I will move over and let you by. Justin Johnson now falling back behind by about 2-3 seconds there on Christian Delgado. And let's go ahead and ride on board. Just to give a little bit of a show on how tough it is here. He's brake, trying to give it everything he gets. And let's ride here with your race leader of Dylan Basin out of Lakeland, Florida. You know, again, this 19-year-old very dominant here in the ISNF series. And he's not giving, I think he's going 100% this whole entire time. And looks like here comes the 22, Justin Johnson heading down pit road. Trying to get everything he can get out of this machine. As we come back and take a look here at Dylan Basin. 23, Joshua Grosso looking to get his lap back, but Basin is not giving it up that easily. And he will let Grosso go. There are now only 2 cars on the lead lap, and that's going to be the 42 of Dylan Basin and your second place of Joshua Grosso, who is directly in front of him. Now everybody has come down pit road except for Dylan Basin as we come down here to 17 laps remaining in this event. Now the question is going to be is how long is he going to wait to come in, even though he's had practically almost a full lap on the entire field. You know, is he going to try to stretch it to the end? I'm not sure if he's going to be able to do that. But everybody else has come down pit road. Except your race leader of Dylan Basin. Again, only 2 cars on the lead lap. Chris Van Maastricht, he is he just pitted on lap 102. So he isn't another one that hasn't come down for fuel and tires yet. And here comes Dylan Basin, your race leader, and this will start to unlap a lot of drivers. As he comes down pit road, don't speed, Dylan, don't speed, because you got to make sure that when you come back out, you know, you don't got a black flag or anything. It seems like a lot of people have done pretty good at not speeding under these green flag conditions. As you see Dylan Basin getting service on that number 42 machine. And Joshua Grosso, he will overtake your race lead heading down here into turn number 1 and 2. And Dylan Basin, he's going to start making his way back out onto the racetrack. And there is a 5.5 second lead back to Basin. So with just 14 laps to go, we have Joshua Grosso in that number 23 McDonald's Toyota Camry for 2311 out of Red Wing, Minnesota. He is out front now looking for his 6th win, and he's looking to break up that 2-race win streak for Dylan Basin. 4.5 seconds back to Dylan Basin as we come around here. 13, come to 12 to go this time by. 4 seconds now separates your race leader in second place. And Basin just put down his fastest lap of the race with the 32.44. He is gaining on Grosso quick. 3.5 seconds back now. Yeah, I think Joshua Grosso, they pitted way too early. And Dylan Basin played his cards right. He is now 3 seconds back, and there he is in the back of the screen back there. Just under 3 seconds, 2.5 seconds now as they go through turns 1 and 2. And this is the separation right there. Every corner, it is getting smaller and smaller. Now he is only 2 seconds back. Basin, he will catch Grosso here in about 2 laps at this pace. How much will Grosso be willing to fight with 10 laps to go here for the Arch, or for the Gateway Arch 200 here at Gateway? That is now your separation between first and second. The 34 will choose the inside, so that's going to cause the 23 to go around the outside, which is not where he wants to be, and that allows Dylan Basin to get just half a second. And Basin has trouble getting around the lap down car here on the front straightaway, but he will clear him heading down turn 1, and now he's right on the back bumper of Grosso. And here comes Dylan Basin taking over that top spot here once again with 9 laps to go. Joshua Grosso in that number 23 McDonald's Toyota, just letting him go, knowing that he is on so much better tires as they now dive down here into turn number 1 and 2 once again as they come up on that 4 car of John Hopley to put him a lap down here once again. As Basin looks to the inside, and he will clear him as he heads down to turn number 3. 4 seconds back from Joshua Grosso is Justin Johnson in that number 22 machine. Again, the 22 has been very strong today, looking for another strong finish up front here after the incident last 2 weeks ago at Chicago, or Iowa. It was, yeah, Iowa. Six laps to go this time by as your race leader puts Bob Wyckoff another lap down. Grosso is now 2 seconds, or 2.5 seconds back from Basin, and then he's just about 4 seconds back to Johnson, so he's got to hold on here just for another 5 laps to get that second spot, but Johnson just may be able to get around him as this thing comes to a close. So that is something that we're going to have to watch as your race leader comes out of turn 4, and Barney gives the one-hand salute, showing 5 to go this time by, as you see sparks fly out from underneath that number 42 machine. Easy does it for Dylan Basin here as he comes around this 1.25 mile speedway. He has something in that tank that none of these other drivers have, and we don't know what it is. But he is giving it all. He is looking for his third race win in a row. The question is going to be, can he keep it straight for the next 3.5 laps? Five seconds now separates your top two. To go this time. This here shows you just about the separation between Joshua Grosso and Justin Johnson. I don't think Johnson's going to have enough time to get to the back bumper as he has two lap down cars in between him and Grosso. But we're going to come back here and focus on your race leader of Dylan Basin, looking to put the 5 car another lap down of Josh Coppernell. 2 laps to go this time. Nice and easy through 1 and 2. 6 more corners remaining for your race leader, Dylan Basin. As he runs here through turns 3 and 4 once again, making a move on the outside of that 41 machine, and the white flag is out, presented by simracerhub.com as they dives down into turn number 1 and 2 once again. Just less than 3/4 of a mile remaining as he taps the outside wall out of turn 2 that time. Bias, he dives down to turn 3 for the final time. Mr. Three-Peat is going to do it here at Gateway, and your race winner, Dylan Basin, in that number 42 Legacy Motor Club Toyota Camry, for his 3rd straight win here in the ISNF series. What an incredible run for Dylan Basin. He had to drive through the field not once but twice after getting turned both times, and he has made it a point that he is one of the fastest drivers. Joshua Grosso will bring it home 2nd. Justin Johnson in that number 22 Hunt's Brother Pizza Ford Mustang will bring it home 3rd. Thomas Flynn in that number 77 real strong finish for him will come home 4th. Delgado will come home 5th, and Michael Hoffladason in that number 16 will bring it home 6th after moving up 17 spots there. Ladies and gentlemen, what an incredible race that we got to witness here today. Give me just one moment here. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and see what we can do about getting a Dylan Basin up here into the booth. Alrighty.
I don't know what you.
Dylan, oh, I apologize. Dylan Basin, this is Mike up in the booth. Do you got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Dylan, Mr. Three-Peat, what a wicked fast Toyota Camry that you have, that you bring out every single week since you've come here. Did you expect to dominate and be able to come back twice through the field the way you did to win this race today?
Well, after the pace I saw I had in practice and qualifying, I had no doubts that it would be I want to say pretty easy, but not insanely difficult to go and win this race. I'm a little angry. I mean, yeah, I still won the race, but people come in there and destroy me and then proceed not to say anything, not apologize. Like it's not even about the fact that I might be fine. It's just the principle of it to me. Just say sorry. I'm not gonna be angry, but they're sitting there and just you'll be alright. Like I mean, if I did get plowed, and the race could have been over right there for no reason. I didn't do nothing to these guys, and I'm over here getting turned twice for absolutely zero reason. So I
Yeah,
don't know what the deal is. Ever since Watkins Glen, I've been having issues with just random horrible racecraft. And when I got turned the second time, I was told I was pinching him, but he was a whole lane off of me. Granted, Jacob apologized. I'm not mad at him. I just don't understand why I'm being told I'm being too aggressive when I'm sitting there giving him a whole lane and he just made a mistake. That's fine. Mistakes happen. It's just an odd, or not odd time, but just a bad time for it to happen because I literally just got right before that. So, after that, I just drove in pure anger. I just drove to the field and had no remorse for anybody. I mean, I'm gonna start racing people how I get raced here.
I hear that. So next week we will be heading to Bristol Motor Speedway for the Smoky Mountains 250. Bristol is a fast mini short track. What's your thoughts about heading into Bristol next week?
Well, it's one of my, if not my best track in iRacing, so I'm pretty excited for it. Hopefully we can keep it green that race. We've been getting pretty good with keeping it green in these, but it's a short track. It's Bristol. Tempers are gonna flare, and a lot of cars packed into a small track. So we'll see how it goes.
Absolutely. All right, Mr. Basin. He's looking to go Mr. Ford Pete next week at Bristol. Thank you so much for joining. Congratulations on your win. Let's go ahead and bring up Joshua Grosso up here into the booth. Joshua Grosso, do you got a copy, sir?
I do.
All right, Josh. What an incredible race for you today. Very strong finish. Something that you have needed the last like two or three races, and you finally got up here into the top three. What were your thoughts coming into this, and did you expect to finish as strong as you did today?
My thoughts were just try to get a solid race in. I didn't really expect to finish up this high, especially not after that mistake I made on lap one. Uh, I think I had like top five speed, but I tried to short pit to get ahead of the 12 and the 22, and that ended up working out for me. I didn't think I had the speed for Dylan, but kind of worked out there.
Oh, absolutely. On that final pit stop, you had such an incredible stop. You did end up coming out about 6 seconds ahead of Dylan, but unfortunately those fresher tires did prevail, and he did get a lap, or he did get around you there. Um, what are your thoughts heading into Bristol next week?
I'm excited for Bristol. I really like that track. It's gonna be chaos, but it's gonna be fun.
Do you think you're gonna have what it takes to break the streak for Dylan next week?
I don't know about that. I think he's way better than all of us.
Alrighty. Do you have want to thank anybody before I send you back down?
Yeah, Michael, Andrew, and Charles, they all were running pretty decent, but had things happen throughout the race. That was a bit unfortunate. But nothing other than that.
Yeah, definitely unfortunate for them. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, Joshua Grosso finishing second here today at Gateway. What an incredible race that we saw here today. Let's go ahead and take a look at your final race results. Dylan Basin, he's going to come out as your race winner. Joshua Grosso in that number 23 machine will come home second. Justin Johnson in that number 22 machine will bring it home third. Thomas Flynn in the number 77 machine, he'll come home fourth. Rounding out your top five will be Christian Delgado in that number 12 machine. Michael Hofledason come out with a strong finish in that 16 machine and finishing sixth. Fabrico Lamana had a strong performance here today at Gateway, bringing it home seventh in that number 44 machine. Eugene Thorne, another strong finish for him in that number 19 as a substitute driver. Joey Maines in that number 48 was able to bounce back after a up and down race to come bring home ninth, and Jeff Weimer had that little bit of issues about mid race, and he ended up bringing it home in 10th spot. Chris Bishop will bring home 11th. Scott Trusty will bring home 12th. Jacob Treat 13th. John Hopley in the 14th spot. Chris Van Mastrich in the number 38 machine will bring home 15th. Josh Coppernoll in the number 5 will bring home 16th. Bob Wyckoff will bring home 17th. Larry Fairman, who had his share of issues late in the race, will bring it home in the 18th spot. 19th, Charles Robertson. Very unfortunate for Charles after having a very strong, dominant car early on in this race. Eric Jorgensen will bring it home 20th. Andrew Miller in that number 54 machine will bring it home 21st. Thomas Fisher, after having that strong starting spot up in that second row, unfortunately he will finish 22nd. Matt Sisler in the 43 will bring home 23rd. Michael Gervey will bring home 24th. Mark Gonzalez will bring it home 25th. Alyssa Sharp, after having a strong run early on, once again had unfortunate issues on the back straightaway. She'll see the 26th spot. Wesley Riddle, James Bowles will round out your top 28. 29th, you got Brian Treadwell, Cody Meadows in that number 21, and Chris Otto with a early exit in that 31st spot. Very unfortunate for those drivers having issues early on. This race was action-packed. This race has been absolutely amazing to watch, to call. Really good racing. Next week, ladies and gentlemen, we will head to the world's fastest half mile of Bristol Motor Speedway in Bristol, Tennessee. We look forward to seeing you next week right here on the iCast Racing Network. And until then, ladies and gentlemen, you know how it goes. Happy time zones. See you next week from Bristol.
This has been a production of the iCast Racing Network powered by iRacing. Thank you for your continued support. Don't forget to like and subscribe for notifications for all of our live events right here on YouTube and Twitch. We would like to thank SDK Gaming for their production overlays that makes this event enjoyable. Until next time, happy time zones.
If you wanna stay with me, if you wanna try, maybe you could be with me, but only for the night. And I'll leave the window open, baby. Leave our key outside the door. We don't need to tell nobody, but I think I'm ready to be loved. Lord.